My name is Lisa Franks, and I live in my wheelchair-accessible campervan. I spend my winters in California and summers in Canada. I chase active adventures like mountain biking, kayaking, or any other activity that comes my way. While I thrive on excitement, not every day is packed with adrenaline. In today's video, I show what an average summer day in Canada looks like for me. This is my life now, guys. Sitting here filming myself doing a COVID test. One of the reasons I come back to Saskatchewan every summer instead of just continuing to travel around and explore is because I run an adaptive mountain bike club here in Saskatchewan. So about 7 years ago, I tried mountain biking for the first time on an adaptive mountain bike, and I just fell in love with it. The equipment can get you places that are amazing that my wheelchair can't take me. I get off the pavement, I can do it with able-bodied friends, and I can just explore so much more deep in nature. These are amazing pieces of equipment, but they cost a lot of money. So a bike like this can run up to $15,000 to $20,000 US. That's a huge barrier for people if they just want to try out the sport and give it a go. And for me to be able to even try the sport, I had to drive about 7, almost 8 hours away from where I live. And I think it was about $250 to rent the bike for a day. So again, another big barrier for people that just want to maybe try the sport and see if they like it. So I wanted to remove some of those barriers, and back in 2020, I set up a GoFundMe and I did fundraising. I got other private donations and was able to gather enough money to buy this bike. It's called the Bowhead Reach, and I call it the community bike. So it's meant for people in Saskatchewan to try mountain biking for the first time, or if they just want to maybe go it a few times a year, they have it available for them instead of having to purchase their own. Now, I have my own personal mountain bike in my van still, and then in the summer, this is our bike rack on the exterior, and I travel around Saskatchewan and I take people with mobility issues out and I show them how to use the bike. We'll go on a guided ride, and then once they get familiar with the bike, they're able to borrow it and sort of rent it for a couple days if they like it. I also have a list of volunteers that will come along, the able-bodied cyclists that can come along just in case we get into trouble on the trail with a mechanical breakdown or we fall off the bike or anything. So it's just a really good way to expose people to mountain biking, but they don't have to fork out a huge amount of money, and they can just see if it's something that they like, and they don't have to worry about transporting it, storing it, maintaining the bike, and of course purchasing it. I usually try to combine my travels around the province with another project or another trip, so the expense isn't on me to go visit people. So that's what this week's about. I'm headed to southeast Saskatchewan to do some trail assessments. I'll just basically be trying out some trails and telling them whether they're accessible or how it could be improved. So I'm going to combine that trip with taking somebody that lives in the southeast out on the mountain bike. And he's been out a few times with me before, and I'm excited to see him for his first ride this summer. So we're off. We're headed to southeast Saskatchewan today. One good thing about the prairies is the easy driving. I'm just going to have to set my cruise control, and in about 3.5 hours I will be at my destination. I might have to make one left turn or one right turn, but the driving is pretty easy. And I've just discovered audiobooks recently, so if you have any recommendations, please put them in the comments. I'm always looking for a new good read when I'm driving. I'm now in southern Saskatchewan at a place called Katepwa Beach. It's about 45 minutes outside of Regina. I have been working on a project with the Trans-Canada Trail and Access Now. This is my 4th summer doing this, and the Trans-Canada Trail is really trying to increase accessibility in the outdoors. And so what I do with this project is I go and I use the trails and the amenities along the trail, and I tell them whether they're accessible for me or not. I'm a little bit under the weather. I've seen a bunch of friends and their kids come down with this head cold, and I thought I was in the clear, but it's starting to hit me, so I'm glad this is a short segment of the trail, and I'll probably spend 1 or 2 days in the area. So let's go check out the Trans-Canada Trail at Katepwa Beach. My assessment starts right from the parking lot. I look to see if there are accessible parking spots, which this has 2 really good ones, and I also check out if I can get to the trail easily from the parking lot. So from the parking lot, I get right onto the trail. It's easy access from the parking lot, and you can see the trail itself is nice and wide, pretty flat, and it's paved, which makes wheeling a wheelchair over it nice and easy. They've done a really good job so far. The trail runs parallel to the beach, and as much as I love getting off the pavement when I'm camping, I really appreciate when a trail is paved like this, especially when you're just trying to get from point A to point B. It makes wheeling so much easier. So the trail goes for many kilometers. It'll connect to some of the different campgrounds and little small communities, and it's usually pretty good. It's a mix of pavement like this and also crushed rock. So another thing they have done is added 4 accessible picnic tables. So you can see in the middle there's a spot my wheelchair can wheel in there. If I'm at the end here of the picnic table, there's not much of an overhang, and my footrest actually runs into the frame of it. So yeah, I always felt like I was kind of sitting far back from people when I was at a regular picnic table, but this way I'm right in the middle of all the action. Big thanks to the random stranger who posed for a picture with me so I could demonstrate how inclusive this picnic table is. One other thing I noticed is they've got a new little pavilion here with a map of all the trails, and there is, paving stone in the middle, but it's all surrounded by this pea gravel, which is very thick. A wheelchair would get stuck going through that, so my recommendation would be just take a little short route there, put some pavement, remove one of those pillars, and then you could actually get there and see what the map's all about. Another little thing I noticed was this crosswalk that looks like it's newly built. To get up to push the pedestrian button, it's a bit steep and it's kind of soft gravel, dirt, and it's not the easiest, so I'd recommend if they could just pave a pathway. Here I am demonstrating that, yes, I am able to get to the crosswalk button, but it wasn't easy. It shouldn't have to be this difficult, and I'm a seasoned wheelchair user. Imagine somebody who's fresh out of the hospital or somebody who's older in age. It would be quite difficult. They've been making some major changes to this whole beach area to make it more accessible. And they've added this amazing mat that grows across the sand, and then it leads to a floating dock which actually has a kayak launching apparatus on it. Normally the sand is so hard for me to access, my wheelchair does not roll through it, but here I can at least, if I wanted to have a beach day and sit on the beach and I'm by myself, I could wheel about halfway down and then just, put a blanket out there and just still be close to the mat and have my wheelchair around, and then enjoy a little beach day. If you saw a recent video that I did, I went on a solo kayak, little paddle, and we have a cabin up in northern Saskatchewan that I have set up with. We have an accessible dock where I can leave the kayak all summer long, and then I can come and go and paddle independently. But a lot of people don't have that option, so having something like this dock that is behind me is very important, and we need to have more of these spread it throughout so more people can kayak with ease. So let's go take a closer look at how this launch works for the kayak. The kayak launcher is on a nice stable dock, and the thing that makes it really accessible is the bench that I am transferring onto right now. My left hand is pulling out a sliding bench, which actually goes over top the kayak, and then I can move my body across and lower myself into the cockpit much easier than if I didn't have that bench to help me. Now that I'm in the kayak, it's just a matter of pulling these rails on my sides, and the kayak rolls down and into the water, and I can launch myself completely independently. One of the many things I love about kayaking is that once I'm on the water, I look just like anybody else out there. You can't tell I have a disability or use a wheelchair. I love the surprised look on people when I return to the dock and hop into my wheelchair because it's not what they were expecting. Getting out of the water is fairly simple. It requires a bit more effort to go up the rails since it's uphill, but I'm still able to manage quite easily. The beach mat, the dock, and the kayak launch are a wonderful initiative. I hope to see more of these because everybody benefits. I even ran into a woman who has arthritis, and although she can walk, using the kayak launcher helped because she didn't have to drag her kayak across the thick sand on the beach. Trans-Canada Trail is also leaders because they actually have people with lived experience with a disability get out and test the amenities they have built. I finished up work at the beach and at the trail, and it's time to make supper, and I wanted to make sure I had a good spot to watch the sunset. Since I left the coast back in April, it's now August, I think I've only caught one sunset, and I'm never like facing the right direction, and I'm stealth camping in the city, so I wanted to make sure tonight I had a good chance at catching a sunset. So I just pulled over. It's called Lookout Point. I'm sure a lot of fun stuff goes down here, but yeah, hopefully there's a nice sunset while I cook supper. Yeah, I think this will do. Sun's just poking out from the clouds. Still another 2 hours until it officially sets, but a nice view of the valley and the lake down there. Not doing anything fancy at all for supper. Salad in a bag. This pre-made skillet ganache, right? And a pre-made pesto sauce. Because I am tired, and this cold I have and the heat has zapped me right down to nothing. Well, I open it up and everything is moldy. You can smell it. It's disgusting. I was really looking forward to it. I don't understand because it's still well before the best before date. I don't know what happened there. Not cool. Plan B, I guess.
Alright, plan B is gonna be taco salad because I already had some meat cooked up from taco night. And I just gotta prepare the veg. It's going to be an early night for me. I want to get ahead of this cold, and tomorrow I will be meeting with the person that I'm taking out on the community mountain bike. So I'll catch up with you in the morning. Well, I don't really know what to say to you guys except for the last 5 weeks, I've been just sick, under the weather. I mentioned that as I was filming, I just had this cold coming on and it has really just lasted. And besides just the cold and the cough I have, my energy levels are just in the dumps. I might get up for an hour or two and then I feel like I have to lay down and have a nap. I haven't done any exercise, and it's really tough in the van because I don't have a lot of options as far as just laying down and relaxing. I have my bed, or I have my passenger seat that I can swivel around and sit on that, but I don't have, a nice lounge area or a couch, and I don't want to spend all my time up in bed. So it's been really tough in the van. It's also been hard in the van because I am coughing so much, especially at night when I lay down, that I'm loud and I can't be stealth camping in a city because it's pretty obvious there's somebody in the van sleeping, and if you listen to me cough, it's pretty obvious it's a female. Yeah, this is definitely one of those times when you don't love van life. Even though I love it 99% of the time, the last 5 weeks have been really tough. I did go visit my mom for a week and stayed at our family cabin, and I had 3 nights in my Airbnb. So I actually own an Airbnb and it wasn't booked, and so I was able to spend a few nights there just to get out of the van. But other than that, it's been a long 5 weeks. When I last filmed, I was supposed to be headed to see another bike rider, and I was going to take him riding on the community bike, but he ended up sick as well, so he canceled, and I was pretty relieved with that. I did film one video. I managed to just do a talking video about my experience at the Paralympics. So while the Paralympics were on, I uploaded it, and if you haven't seen that, go check it out. But yeah, that has been why I haven't filmed, why I haven't put out a video lately, and I just wanted to let you guys know what was happening. My symptoms have really changed. Like, for almost the whole time, I just had a dry hacking cough from my chest, and then the last 3 or 4 days, it's kind of just moved up into my sinuses, and it's exactly what COVID felt like. I think, well, January of 2022, I had COVID, and when I had it, I was just a sneezing, snotty mess, and that's what I've been like. So I think even though it wasn't COVID at the start, it's time to do a COVID test. This is way more complicated than I remember. There are a lot of things in here. Okay. I don't have the best hand dexterity because there's some paralysis in there, and it's making opening this kind of difficult. Ah, we got it. Okay. What is all this? Okay, these 2 things. I don't know where they go. It's been a long time since I've had to do one of these, and I'm gonna have to read all the instructions. Hold the tube upright. Okay, drop 4 drops. 2. Oh, was that 3 or 4? Okay, whatever. We can do 5. The instructions said it. Test is in. Now we wait for 15 minutes to get the results. Hasn't even been 2 minutes and it's looking like a positive test there. So I apparently had a different bug, and then when I wasn't fully over that, got a COVID. So let's hope that this recovery from COVID is uncomplicated and I can get back to activities soon, because being in a small space when you're not feeling well, it's not cool. So I guess I'll just be drinking a lot of tea with honey. I actually just canceled all of my commitments for the next week, and that means I have 10 days to get better before I have to be around people for this upcoming project that I have. So that should be enough time, as long as, you know, things go well. I think last time I was out for about a week and then I was back to doing activities. So yay, let's hope this is the end of it. I put an order for groceries through curbside pickup, so I'm just gonna go grab those, and then my plan is to find a nice quiet camp spot outside of the city where I can relax. I drove about half an hour out of the city to this beautiful camp spot right next to a river. This isn't really a campground or anything, it's just a little secret spot that I come to every now and then. It's the first time this summer that I've been here. I really think this is the perfect place to get some rest and heal once and for all, so I can get back to some adventures. Thanks for joining me in this video. If you enjoyed it at all, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Until the next adventure, keep it wheel, everyone. This is my life now, guys. Sitting here filming myself doing a COVID test. Might be a little buzzed on cough medicine right now. Ooh. Tilt my head back. And go. Oh my god, that hurts. That is not 2 centimeters. Ah! I think I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, next side. I think we've done enough punishment to that nostril. Don't drip it. Don't drip it, Lisa. Ah!